How's it going, YouTube? Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series 86 Perceptor from the Deluxe class. And here he is in his robot mode. Now, starting off by taking a look at the box, you do have this really cool artwork of Perceptor here on the front, as well as the same artwork on the side, and this just a little cutout of that on this side. Coming around to the back, we can see that Perceptor transforms into 20 steps into his microscope mode, and he also has his little tank mode as well. And then he comes with a backdrop as well. After observing a fleet of incoming enemies, Perceptor reports that a cursory evaluation of Decepticon capability indicates a distinctive tactical deficiency, or in other words, they're outnumbered. So that's pretty cool. Looking at the insert for the box, he does come on this cardboard insert, but it's this one that we want to remove. And of course, he has his instructions as well. Go ahead and put those in the box. Set the box aside, and you can see this is basically just the backing. This is basically just to hold the figure in one place in the package. And taking a look at the actual backdrop itself, we have this really cool image of the battle on Autobot City. And we can just place Perceptor inside this backdrop. And he can be telling Magnus about how they're outnumbered by Decepticons. So, moving this out of the way, we're going to now take a look at Perceptor, and I'm going to do a few comparisons before. So here we have Perceptor, and here he is with Blur from the first wave of Studio Series 86 figures. And here he is with Retgar from a previous wave. So you can see how he scales with another Deluxe as well as a Voyager from this series. Going into articulation and accessories, so he comes with this little pistol rifle that he can wield. He can also store it on his back when he's not using it. Setting that off to the side though, let's take a look and see how he articulates. So his head is on a ball joint, so it can swivel back and forth and all the way around. He can look up a little bit. There's a platform that's attached to. You can use that to kind of cheat some more articulation. It doesn't look the best though. And he can look down a little bit. His shoulders are ball jointed, which is a first, I think, in this in these newer figures. Most of the joints that Hasbro's been using lately have been universal hinge swivels, not ball joints. So it's kind of odd that they chose ball joints for this shoulder, for the shoulders on this figure. But it does go all the way around, and it can go out that far. So you get a full 180 degrees out across. A 90-degree movement, that is. Rotation at the bicep swivel allows you to rotate 360 degrees, and then the elbow bends just slightly above 90. We'll just give him 90 degrees for that. His wrists can move in and out due to transformation. However, it's not exactly an articulation point. It is worth noting that these are just painted. They're not actual dials like they were on the Reveal the Shield, as well as how this one was an actual working dial on the Titan's Return version of the figure of this character. Coming down to the waist, we don't have any kind of ab articulation, but we do have a waist swivel, and you can get a whole 360 degrees out of that. And we also have forward and backward motion at the hips to get well over the full Monty. And then, of course, getting his arms out of the way, you can spread his legs for the full Van Damme split. He does have a swivel at the thigh. He does have this joint here for transformation. It could have done with being a little bit tighter. That said, it is nowhere near as bad as the Titan Return figure was in that regard. He has a nice range on his knee, and then his ankle will go inward like that way, and you can move his toes up and down, mostly for transformation. So that's the articulation on this figure. If you unclip the shoulder cannon from the base a little bit, there's a clip here that goes over this tab. You can aim it upwards, or it will aim downwards, and it is on a ratcheted joint. And light does pass through here. You can't really make anything out if you look in there, but light does pass through the microscope lens. Now, getting down to transformation on this figure, the transformation is quite simple. It is a typical Perceptor transformation. We will first rotate the head all the way back, and then fold that down into his back until it snaps into place. Then we will raise his arms upward and flip his hands in. And it's worth noting that the back of the hands are actually painted blue to match the forearms. And I really love this blue color they used here on this figure. It's not like the teal that I thought kind of looked dingy on the Titan's Return version. It's a very nice shade of a periwinkle almost. Also, this pearlescent white coloring around here. It's not exactly silver, and it's not just a flat white or anything. It looks really nice to me. And then this black paint is applied nicely as well. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot of paint on this figure. Anyhow, we are going to now detach the shoulders from this tab here, bring that whole thing down all the way, both sides, and then we will bring this out so that it is perpendicular and bring in both of these pieces here, and they will meet in the middle, and this will tab into that blue section underneath here. And then we will bring the arms up, and they will tab in. This slot will tab over this tab, and that will hold that in place very nicely. Next, we want to go ahead and fold the toes down. Bring the legs both forward like so. Bring them straight out, and then bring them in at that joint I mentioned earlier. And you want to do this so that this surface, as well as the bottoms of the legs, are all touching the base or wherever you have him at. And then bring down this chest panel. And now we can bring down the microscope lens, and there is him. There's Perceptor in his microscope mode, and he looks very nice from most angles. The back's kind of bland, and you can see the back of his head here. It is pretty much just a robot sitting down. However, I think it does the trick in that it's very accurate to his G1 portrayal. You can kind of plug the gun in on the side here. It's a bit of a tight fit right there. This is just a tight fit on all of them. The tolerance on the handle, I'm not sure if it's quite right. Let me see if it fits well on here. It might just be that. Yeah, it seems to be a little bit tight on the handle is what it is. So yeah, but it will go into any of the 5mm ports on the figure. So there's not really a whole lot you can do with this mode. It's really just a display piece. The only real thing you can do is move this up and down. It doesn't rotate here or adjust the lens in any way. So, moving right along, we will go into his tank mode. It's loosely a tank. I And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna put the hips back in their proper orientation for robot mode. And then we're going to bend this joint the opposite direction, and it will plug in to this tab on the arm. So bend it opposite, and it will tab into the arm. And now there is that mode. And it doesn't roll, there's no wheels, so you can kind of scoot it around, but that's that mode. There's not a whole lot you can do here as well, other than just move this up and down. So he does what he needs to do, Perceptor does. It does look miles better than the Titan's Return version, in my personal opinion. Some people may think otherwise. However, I definitely think this is a more solid figure than that Titan's Return version, and it's better. It has better articulation, and it looks a lot more like the G1 accurate portrayal we want to see for our Studio Series 86 movie shelves. And that's where he stands. He stands with my other 86 movie cast, that being Hot Rod, Rodimus, Blaster, Wreck-Gar, Blur, Cup, RC, and the others. So that's where he fits right in. And I think this really nice soft plastic really gives the illusion that he looks like he did from that 86 movie rather than his styling from, say, the G1 cartoon, the third season. And he looks great. He really does look great. On my copy, though, when I did open him up, he did have some plastic flash in his eyes. I had to remove that. Not too much of an issue. You can take like a little toothpick or something and get it out. So that wasn't too big of an issue, too bad to deal with. But otherwise, this guy came out really, really well. And he's coming out around in other areas. I know I ordered mine from Hasbro Pulse when they came back in stock here recently, so I ordered him about 5 days before recording this, and I received him the day before I recorded. So very, very nice figure. If he is in stock on your favorite, on any of your favorite sites to buy Transformers, go ahead and pick him up, because he is a really good iteration of a G1 movie Perceptor at a really well done price point, I think. Really well done for the price point. There's not a whole lot going on here with the engineering. However, he does do what he needs to do, and he is a great figure. So this has been my review of the Transformers Studio Series Perceptor. And until next time, till all are one.